Hello, and welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Welcome to our second Friday Food, Wine, and Travel show, everybody. We're very excited today. We're going to be chatting with Paula Schuck. And now Paula is based up in Canada, and she loves to go to Vermont. And that's what she's going to talk about today, is about going on a ski adventure for spring break and also what it's like to go to Vermont year-round. Paula is a member of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, and that's what we do every second Friday. We get to chat with these travel writers who tell us all about their world travel experiences, and it's always really fascinating. So excited to have Paula with us today. She's written an article about her trips to Vermont, and you can go read it on nationalparktraveling.com and also see it in the spring issue of Parks and Travel magazine. But I also encourage you to follow her online, especially if you're a parent. Her website is thriftymammastips.com, and that's mama is MOMMA, so thriftymammastips.com. So welcome, Paula. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, Lisa and Nancy.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Now, listen, we're going to have a party. I heard that you've got all these wonderful beer trails in Vermont, and so that's one of the top reasons to go.
Absolutely. Brewfest is coming up there, too. So if you're a craft beer lover, it's a great spot to visit.
Now, do you like wine as well? Because we got a photo of you with a good
I do.
That's
hilarious. That's hilarious that you have that photo. Yes, I am always learning more about both things, actually, but wine is my happy place. Beer, I enjoy, just not quite as much as wine.
Me too. I think, Nancy and I have a thing about wine, and this is our food, wine, and travel show, so we got to bring this up. But
yes.
I know you love the outdoors with your family. You go skiing, hiking, paddleboarding, biking, and all of that. But what Nancy and I do, we have our Portofino backpack, and it has a pouch where you have your wine in it, and no glass. You just pour it into a little wine bag. It keeps it cold and concealed, and no one knows. And then you get to the top of the mountain that you've climbed, and you just pop over in the little thingy and pour yourself a glass of wine. How about that?
That is amazing. I think I need to get one of those.
I'm going to hook you up. I'm just saying.
Excellent.
No, when you say it's your happy place, we should have happy times when we're outdoors. Do you and your family, carry snacks and things like that are naughty but nice for when you're out on, skiing and things like that, maybe a chocolate bar?
Oh, I often, it's terrible to tell you this, I often have a little tiny package of some sort of candy in my pocket just as a little reward for getting the hike done or for getting the ski hill done, or, it keeps you going.
It's energy.
Yes.
That's the way I look at that.
It is.
Yeah. When you're skiing, when you think about being out in winter, you're already burning more calories because of the cold, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you are. So we enjoy a lot of intensely physical activity in the winter, and it is cold, so we do stash our pockets also with protein bars and things like that. Make sure we have lots of water with us. So we're usually good to go for the duration.
Ooh, see, that's good. That's good. And then now Vermont, how far is Vermont, from you?
So we drive down pretty much yearly now, and the drive for us from London, Ontario, which is 2 hours south of Toronto, it's about, I'm going to say 8.5 to 9 hours. So it's manageable. It's manageable with teenagers for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and that makes it, when a place is like 2 to 3 hours away, that's kind of like a nice little weekend escape. But you kind of want that longer distance to make it feel like, okay, this is going to be the epic adventure, road trip. So you have the road trip vibe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and we can do it with very few breaks, so we're pretty used to it now.
Okay, so what when you think about skiing and, because I know you've been there year round, in the spring, summer, fall, but in spring, and that's interesting. You think about skiing as you always just think of winter, but not spring. But do you take your own gear, or do you get it when you're there?
Absolutely. So we pack our own gear. We've been skiing for about 5 years now in total, and so we have our own gear. We're used to our own gear, and we have quite a system now down pat. So the minivan is packed to a T. There's not a square inch of space left, really. But, we take everything with us. It saves money that way, and it's also a level of comfort when you have your own equipment with you.
Yeah, that's true, too. And then it teaches everyone to take care of things.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, that's what it looks like. So what about, Nancy and I, we always laugh about talking about skiing because Nancy gets stuck on the thing that goes around.
The chairlift.
The chairlift. And, and I'm going to say we'll probably be able to do skiing now that we have our little backpack so we can get on the chairlift and drink wine. But
nice.
for beginners, when you go to, we think about Park City, Utah, Vermont, these skiing destinations, it can be kind of intimidating. Like to me, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do they have like lessons to help people like Nancy and I?
Yes, they do. They have. So we've been to several resorts where we've also done lessons. We did some lessons. We learned how to ski in Quebec at Tremblant, and then after that, we went to Smuggler's Notch in Vermont. That was our first real big Vermont ski trip, and we had ski school there, and they have amazing levels of ski instruction for kids, for teenagers, for adults, for couples together, group instruction, pretty much everything you can imagine. And also what's really cool about Smuggler's Notch and a few other resorts in Vermont is that they offer accessible ski lessons to people who have mobility issues as well.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So almost everyone can learn how to ski.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. The thing that got me was how you get off the chairlift. The reason I kept going around was because I thought, kind of like Disneyland rides, they stop when you're supposed to get off, but they didn't. They just kept going around, and you're supposed to jump and ski.
That's right.
And so
that's right. That's hilarious.
I just, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to ski yet. But it wasn't just jump and go down the hill, and I'm like, no. But that was Whistler's Mountain, which also I was told by an instructor is not the place for a novice. So there.
No, it's definitely not. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, so that's the hardest part really is the chairlift, I think.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, but then don't people use that in the summer, like just for like fun to go? It's like a zip line, but you're seated. Don't you use that?
So there's different areas that do different things in the summer, right? And sometimes they put on a gondola and you go up the hill and then you hike down, or you go up the hill and you zip line down. It depends on the resort area that you're at. And then sometimes they just store that chair for the entire summer season.
Okay. And so the summer, that's got to be, when does summer start in Vermont, actually? Like, when does the snow end and the summer begin?
So late April, but technically for me, I think it's more May, right? So the weather's fairly similar to what we get here in southern Ontario, but they get a lot more snow and they have much nicer landscapes. So that's why we love to go to Vermont. In the summer, we made it to Smuggler's Notch last year for the first time ever to see Vermont in the summer. And I have to tell you, it was really mind-boggling to see how they transform a resort that you think of as a ski resort into a summer family vacation spot. Wow. There's so much to do in Vermont in the summer, too. The hiking's epic, yeah.
That is awesome. That's awesome. When you think about being able to go and hike, and then you also do like paddle boarding and So the water's got to be a big deal too, like, because of all the snow that's melted.
Yes, so they have, at Smuggler's Notch, they have a little reservoir kind of thing. It's not huge. It's obviously not on the water because it's, a mountain, landlocked kind of space, but they have a little spot that you take a tiny shuttle to, and it's maybe 5 minutes down the road, and then you can spend the day there, and you can do paddle boarding. You can there's all of this stuff set up in the middle of the water that's like slides to jump in, trampoline you can jump on and jump in, all kinds of family-friendly, just fun activities to do together.
Oh, that is really cool. And then I know you as a thrifty mama, getting your family together. So your kids are all teenagers, right? So
that's right.
The benefits of being active, I wanted to talk about that a little bit, the benefits of getting together as a family. Number one is a vacation, because I think it's, especially, I think kids are just piled with work at school, and and there's a stress level for especially in the teen years. There's stress level, whether it's your extracurricular activities, sports, thinking about going to college, and all of that. So there's the stress, and I don't think families do actually get as much of a vacation or like a communication time as maybe they used to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Kids are they have a lot of things, especially as teenagers. They have part-time jobs, they have the academic work, they have the extracurriculars, and then they're also working on volunteer hours and thinking about where they're going to university. So there is a lot of stress on them that we sometimes don't really think about. So I love to be able to get away with the entire family just to reconnect and bond. And I find that sometimes it's not only really good physical exercise when you're skiing or hiking or whatever together, it's also really great mental health time.
Yeah, mental health.
And for me, for me, the outdoors and walking together and just being physical, there's a release of, endorphins and all of that just makes me feel so much better able to tackle the next week or months or whatever lies ahead.
So I read that Vermont has more cows than it does people. Do you think that's true?
What? More cows than it does. I believe that is actually true. I believe I also read that same fact, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So
I don't know if it's really true.
I think it might be. I would have to actually look into that.
I know. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. The thing about that is the cows, right? It sort of leads me into the food and the drink scene in Vermont. It's very farm to table, very fresh and creative as well. So when we go, we really enjoy dining out occasionally, at least a couple of times when we're there. And sometimes the meals that you get are astonishing. Like we had Brussels sprouts on pizza last year, and I thought, that sounds really kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it was really kind of a savory, different take on pizza.
And does that help getting kids to eat vegetables, like going to restaurants like that? So there's, and having the creative. I mean, I wouldn't imagine. We have Chef Ivan Flowers on the show, and he's a 5-star chef, and now he's teaching kids. He's a high school culinary instructor, and he goes even to get kids to eat mushrooms sometimes they, then he had to teach them how to cut open a chicken and one passes out. So he's like, the education level of getting kids to understand food beyond fast food is a huge issue over here. And I don't know if it was just a Southern California thing. I don't know, but I think the more farm to table experiences, especially that are creative, I think the more chance to get kids to eat the right food.
I think that's right, and I think it's a great skill for life, agricultural literacy and food literacy, and whatever we can do in that regard to help kids and teenagers and youth just sort of become self-sufficient and also question what they're eating and whether it's good for you and what it does for your energy level. I think that's all valuable information.
When you travel, I mean, we talked about candy and snacks and things, but do you eat, like, make your own sandwiches, or do you get to cook or anything like that? So that, yes, you're going to go out to dine, but I mean, especially teenagers and boys, man, they'll eat the restaurant down. It's a bill.
That's true. Yeah, there's that little gap of time where kids are like teenagers and they're eating ravenously, so it's impossible to go to restaurants every night. And it would be extremely costly at ski resorts too. So we always like to stop outside the resort before we check in, find a grocery store, stock up on some staples so that we can make our own breakfasts and lunches, and we can carry a lunch bag full of water bottles, protein bars, some fruit, maybe leftover pizza from the night before. We leave it in the lodge. Everybody has a little locker there usually, or a cubby kind of thing, and just come back at lunchtime and have that, so that you're not wasting money and time in the lodge when you could be skiing, right?
Yeah. And I like doing the breakfast, if you can do breakfast on your own, because I don't know about Vermont weather, but for Nancy and I, a lot of times we hit the trails before sunrise, so we can, wake up with the sun and the birds, and it's better for photography. So, when we're out in nature, we want to be in sunrise. So half of the places don't serve breakfast until by the time we're already, out on another planet.
That's
I don't
true.
know. We're already on the trail like hours in.
That's true.
So,
good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Have it early, but make it yourself.
Definitely.
Or sometimes we just take breakfast on the trail, and have champagne.
And wow, I like that. I need to travel with you.
Okay. It's fun. It's like, but that, I mean, to me, that's kind of, it just makes it easier. But what's it like when you ski? I mean, how early do you get up to do it?
Well, so they usually open the lifts at, 9 would be the earliest usually. Okay. So maybe 10 some places. But so, yeah, we want to be there early. You want the best snow. You want, pardon me, you want the fresh snow that's, pardon me again,
like the powder.
That has
the
not
powder.
been like scraped away by the snowboarders, right? So snowboarders kind of tackle the hill a little bit differently, and they often will scrape a chunk of snow off the surface, so it gets icier underneath.
Oh.
It doesn't always happen, but I'm just saying the earlier you're there, the better.
See, here it is, the skiers versus the boarders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always comes down to that.
Now, what about tubing? I've seen photos where, you can go in like an inner tube and slide down.
That's my style.
I know. That's kind of my style, too. And then you have champagne at the end.
You guys, I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes, it's Friday.
Yeah, so a lot of places do offer tubing and snowshoeing, cross-country, and even you can do different outings. Like we did a cat tracks adventure one year at Smuggler's Notch, which was fantastic. So much fun for the kids, too. So you hop in one of their vehicles that goes all the way up to the top of the hill, and sometimes they will offer excursions where you can ski back down, or other times they'll bring you back down. But the view from up there at night and the ride up is just a hoot, and it's something different you would never do at home.
Oh, see, this is having a lot of fun now. I think, Nancy, we need to go to Vermont. We've been talking about Vermont forever. It just looks so beautiful. And I want to go play maple syrup. So do you get to go and actually, like we have pick orchards and places, do you get to have like do your own syrup experience?
Absolutely. You can go do there's all kinds of different activities and excursions that you can do, or you could just show up on your own at at a farm that does maple syrup tapping or maple syrup experiences and sugar shack, all of that. So you could go for the pancakes, or you could go for, just the experience of it, to see the maple syrup flowing kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Wow. So does that happen year-round, or is there a specific season for the syrup?
No, there's a specific season. It's very weather dependent, and it's very short. So it will be happening any time now. So when we go, we're going to Smuggler's Notch next week. So it's like 8 days from now. It will be flowing. It will be perfect. And then it will be done, I'm going to say probably before mid-April. So it's a very short time.
It is short.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going back again. So is there a specific resort that you're going to?
Yes, we're doing Smuggler's Notch for spring break here, which is not the same as spring break there. So for Canadians, it's a perfect time to actually go to Vermont on spring break. You can still access excellent skiing because the snow is still there, and it's a little less crowded than it might be, say, what's that big week you guys have, President's Week?
Oh, February.
In February?
Yes. Mid-February,
so that is the busiest time frame, and also, of course, Christmas holidays.
So,
and
when you go off-season, doesn't that, I know we like to go to places midweek more than on weekends. We advocate for people, we travel full-time on our Love Your Parks tour, go to parks, and then when we go there and there's people, we're like, get out, it's our park today.
That's funny. Yeah.
But it just to have that little balance of people, and I think it's better for the environment that we don't all go at the same time, but it saves money.
Absolutely it does, yeah. So if you can ever go, say, leave on a Sunday and go Monday to Thursday to a ski resort, it's way more affordable than going on the weekend, of course. It's way less crowded. It's easier to get accommodations, easier to get spots at restaurants if that's your thing. So, yeah, we really enjoy that. I prefer when the chairlift is not like a lineup for 30 minutes or something ridiculous like that, right?
Oh, that's because I'm at the top of it going round and round.
They can't get her off. They can't get her off. That's funny.
You are not the only one that's happened to, believe me.
Oh, good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Now, I want to talk about your writing because, here you're doing the Mama's Tips, you're blogging, you also have a business in regards to social media, working in that. But you went from being an investigative journalist to writing Mommy's Tips here. It's really Mama's Tips. So that's quite a jump.
Right.
But, I mean, being thrifty is investigative, right? I mean, you have to dig around and do research.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yes, shopping trips are research.
That's right.
So yeah, I was an investigative journalist for several years, and I worked for the newspapers here, and I did a lot of cool like ride-alongs with the police and body rub parlor, sort of expose ride-ons as they arrested a big group of people who were not actually running body parlor things, but running something else kind of thing. And I did a lot of hard news, and I really loved that, and I loved the adrenaline and the camaraderie of the newsroom. But then we had our kids, and that it wasn't conducive to running out in the middle of the night and chasing, the train wreck or the whatever hard news story was the next day.
Yeah.
So I transitioned to freelancing again, and travel writing evolved probably about 6 to 7 years ago out of that.
Nice. Nice. And, it's interesting, when you go for investigative journalism, it is like things happen, and you don't really have a normal schedule like everybody else.
No, you don't.
9 to 5. Well, do you even have a normal schedule as a freelance journalist? I mean, do any of us have a normal schedule?
What's normal?
Well, sort of, right? And I can work from my home office. So that's the nice thing. And because I transitioned into writing a lot of family travel, when I'm doing travel, I get to bring the family with me quite often.
Nice.
So that's perfect for us.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it is cool, with Nancy and I traveling together, but sometimes, we'll go out hiking with a friend with a kid, and it's so neat to see the youth light up. Their faces light up when they experience something new or tackle something, do something they didn't think they could do and do.
Absolutely.
That's a really cool thing, and it's cool when families can do things together. Again, going back to that, I think that's really awesome. The International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, we love our Second Friday shows where we get to chat with travel writers like yourself and hear about destinations all over. How did you hook up with them?
So in 2016, I was searching for a professional travel organization or a travel writing organization that would just lend a bit more credibility and a bit more community to what I was doing. So writing, as you know, can be a super solitary exercise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I value the networking, first of all, the experience that everybody has there, and also the skill level. Sometimes it's just really valuable to read someone you admire, their travel writing experience, and figure out, wow, how can I improve myself and get to that level? And maybe you create a relationship or find an in to sort of talk with that person and evolve as a writer. So for me, the group has been super useful that way.
That's nice, and it's international, which is great.
Yeah,
I
think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and I like that they work together with the destinations. So that the members are writers, photographers, authors, and then the destinations as well. So that that opens doors as well, because sometimes it's really hard for a destination to find the right kind of travel writer to go and write about the area, and it's hard for the travel writer to find a destination that's travel writer friendly. You know what I mean? So I think that's a nice bond that they have. Yeah, to connect everybody.
That's true. And I tell you, if I'm ever on a vacation / or a media trip, either way, and I run into the PR or I'm with the PR and I mention this organization, it's well respected. So everybody knows about it and they respect that group, and that's valuable also.
Yes, it is. It's part of building your portfolio as a writer.
It really is.
And building your resume as well. So I think that's really great. And they're going to be having their annual conference in November in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So if you don't want the snow, go. And Fort Lauderdale's close to the Everglades, and you can go see alligators and crocodiles. I'm just saying, it's one of the best places on earth. So I love Southern Florida. I love Florida. It's cool. Well, it's tropical.
Florida.
I love it.
Have
you been there?
It's a great spot to go. I have, I've been to Fort Lauderdale a couple of times, and we have also done family trips to Florida. I did a girlfriend's getaway all over Florida there a couple of years ago. So
that's
very
a
familiar.
State to do
and
that.
Hoping to get back. It is, yeah.
Drive-through daiquiris, man.
Yeah.
Drive-through daiquiris, wow.
Yeah. Florida and Louisiana are really good for that. We've learned all about it. We make it's part of,
There's that theme coming back.
Yeah. Well, it's Friday. I get to talk like this on Fridays. It's like, yippee. But they do. They have drive-through daiquiris, drive-through liquor stores, which I think is really...
Well, to be clear, you're not supposed to drink it.
No.
You drive through, pick it up, and go to a park and drink it.
But you don't let the park police see you.
Wow.
I know, we're naughty. You want to come on a girlfriend's getaway with us?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
We have a get out of jail free card. So I don't know where we got that from, but somehow we have it. I'm just kidding. But awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you and hearing all about Vermont and your writing and and what you're doing as a mom as well. And I want to encourage people to not only follow you on your blog, thriftyMamasTips.com, but also you're on Instagram and Twitter, right? And Facebook as well?
I am.
Okay.
Yes,
under
that's
Ink
right.
Scribbler.
That's right.
Ink
Perfect.
Scribbler.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been super fun. Again, everyone, Paula's article is up on the Parks and our Parks and Travel magazine, the spring issue for 2020, and you can just type in Paula and Vermont, and you'll find her article on nationalparktraveling.com. Because I do want to touch on that too. That all of the skiing and all these resorts and this experience that you've been having out there, it's all part of the Green Mountain National Forest. And that seems, isn't the state named after the Green Mountain Forest, the Green Mountain State? It's got to be.
It is. It's the Green Mountain State, and it is in any season just stunning landscape to see, to spend time in, and to explore, whether you're hiking or just, hanging out or skiing or whatever you're doing. The views from the top of the mountains, any time of year, just stunning.
Awesome.
We have to go.
I know. Yeah. We're going to plan that.
Yeah, you do.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. You can keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Our shows air Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays, except for holidays. And, of course, you've got to keep up with the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, especially if you're in the travel and tourism world. It is ifwtwa.org. You can find out more about their conference coming up as well. And we love to play music for our guests. And, since you're going to be going back to Vermont, here's your song for today, Paula. It is called Summer Snow, because I know you get to see snow in summer in Vermont as well.
Nice.
It is by Misha Schellhaus. He's an amazing guitarist. He is based here in 29 Palms, where we are today, right outside Joshua Tree National Park. You can keep up with Misha at mishamusic.com. But here it is, Summer Snow. Thanks so much, Paula.
Very cool. Thank you, Lisa and Nancy.